So we decided to do things a little bit different today. We used our tarot to be the inspiration for today's energy clearing. This is called spiritual response technique. And sometimes I go to my dowsing charts and I use my pendulum and I just see what comes up randomly. Other times I use my energy exchange videos. Today I'm in a new town, I'm in a different location. I thought, why not use the inspiration of this newness that's all around me and use the tarot as my inspiration? And immediately out popped the Devil card. And the Devil card in my mind is our attachments, it's our addictions, it's the things that we just can't let go of. And those things, those attachments, those addictions, they're preventing us from being able to move on fully, to grow, to transform, to change, to learn, because we're so stuck in this old energy, in this old pattern, in this old identity. So that's what we're going to look at today. What is it that we are so attached to that we are not allowing ourselves to grow, learn, transform, move on, succeed, whatever the case may be? I know I say that a lot, don't I? Whatever the case may be. That's my phrase. You can use it if you want to. Okay, so we're going to go to our first chart. Again, this is called spiritual response technique. We take our pendulum and this series of like 40 charts, and we say, show us what is the root story of this attachment. What is it that we are attached to, that we are struggling to let go of, struggling to move on from? Power and manipulation. Is it us being the ones in power that we're struggling to let go of? Or is there someone who we are attached to that is using power and manipulation over us? So are we using power and manipulation, or is someone else using power and manipulation over us? So it's our own power and manipulation. We are stuck on power. This is so funny because I just watched I watched a little video of that couple today that climbed the Empire State Building here in New York City, and they unfurled a banner that they had put up there, and the banner, the message was about, I can't quote it directly, but it was basically like, when our desire for love equals our desire for power, then the world will know peace. And so this is really fascinating that this is coming up. And it's also interesting because before I got this clearing started, I literally was asking myself, is there anything I can do to release all of us, not all of us, but some of us, especially those people in charge, from this addiction to power? So like always, this stuff comes up. I don't plan it, but here's what it is. So we're going to work today on those people who are addicted to power. This could be you on a small scale. This could be on the bigger scale, like the big bad guys who are addicted to power. So we're going to look at that. Oh, somebody just pulled up in front of my Airbnb. Are they going to like watch me do this? Okay. So anyway, so now my window's open because I want to have light, and now there's people out there. Okay, so higher level blocks. We're gonna go to chart 18, and we're gonna look at this chart, and we're gonna say, what is going on here with these higher level blocks to our spiritual expression? These people obsessed with power, and us in our own way. When we are obsessed with power, we are not in our highest spiritual expression. We are in our base human expression. We are not in our highest version of us. We are not being our best selves, our spiritual selves. When we are tapped into our spiritual nature, then we are completely devoid of this attachment to power. There is no such thing as hierarchy in the spiritual realms. There is no such thing as I am better than you in the spiritual realms. There is no such thing as I want to take all that is and keep it away from you so that I can have it all in our highest spiritual expression. Those things don't exist. So we're going to release all of us now from blocks to our spiritual expression. And again, I'm talking about this on a large scale for the big bad scary people out there who are obsessed with power, but I want this to resonate for you as well. What are the areas in your life where you are refusing to let go of power and control? How are you acting in manipulation of other people in order to maintain power and control? So be thinking about allowing yourself to lean into your fullest spiritual expression. Ask yourself that question. When I lean into my fullest spiritual expression, do I still want this power and control? Do I still care about this power and control? What is it that is attaching me to wanting this power and control? And I can almost guarantee you that it is not your spiritual nature. It is not love. It is not peace. It is not joy. It is not the life force that flows through nature. That is not what's happening there. So, okay, so now let's go back and see what again, on a larger scale, what is the block to our spiritual expression? What is going on here with this block to our spiritual expression? What is it specifically? Our beliefs are out of whack. We have lost touch with our belief that we are spiritual beings. Let out a good exhale and say right now, I release myself from any belief that is blocking me to the truth of my spiritual nature. I release myself from the lies that tell me that I am not a spiritual being. I release myself from the stories and the old wives' tales and the fables and the dogma that has tried to convince me that I am not a spiritual being. This human body is so temporary. This human experience is so temporary. But spirit goes on forever and ever and ever. Life force goes on forever and ever and ever. It cannot be destroyed. So think about that too. It's like, I want all of us to be proud as we can be, of who we have been while we have been inside of this human body. And can your spirit feel good about the things you're doing? And if your spirit doesn't feel good about the ways in which you have been attached or addicted to power, control, and manipulation, I would encourage you to make note, literally, of what those things are that you are doing that is in service to power, control, and manipulation, and stop doing them. But sometimes it takes slowing down long enough to make note of what of our actions are just a reflection of our desire for our addiction to power and control, for us to even know we should stop doing it. That's why this work is so powerful, is that for so many of us, we do things blindly. We have no idea we're doing what we're doing. We just do it. We just get up and do it. We are numb. We are hypnotized by the things of the human mind, the human body, the human nature. We are hypnotized, so we don't realize the core reason why we are doing what we're doing. When we stop and we slow down and we make note of it and we look at ourselves, then we wake up. And then it's not that hard to stop. It was shockingly easy for me to stop doing some of the more shadow things that I was doing when I finally just looked at them with my spirit eyes, not with my human eyes, although my human eyes obviously were involved. But when I really just took accounting of my own behavior, sometimes we have to take accounting of our own behavior. So I'm calling in now for every person in power to be forced to sit down and take accounting of their own behavior, to ask themselves why they're doing what they're doing, and to be forced to look in the mirror, the spiritual mirror. Why am I doing this? Why do I need to own every island? Why do I need to have billions or trillions of dollars? Why do I need to put people below me in order to feel good about myself? Why? Ask the why. Ask the why. Okay, so what else can we do here to clear all of us from this addiction to power, control, manipulation? And certainly anything we can do to positively influence the world in any way to release these big bozos from their love of power, manipulation, and control. Responsibility. So what percent have we been taking responsibility for our actions? 0%. What percent are we blocked to taking responsibility for our actions? 100%. So we've been blocked. Sorry, dropped my cell phone cord. So we've been blocked to taking responsibility for our actions. And so when we are not, again, everything that I just said, when we're not acting in responsibility for what we're doing, when we're numb to what we're doing, when we're, hypnotized and, blinded, I feel like I said that, but when we're just blinded to what we've been doing, unaware, when we're unaware and unconscious of, the reasons behind what we're doing, we can't take responsibility, right? And it's like, for some of us, we do really well when someone calls us out, when someone's like, yo, look at the crap you've been doing. You need to take responsibility for this. And then when somebody brings it up in front of our face, we're like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like, I have been doing that. I am so sorry. I will stop now. You know, and I experience that in my day job. It's like, it's my responsibility as a leader to say, hey, you've been breaking this policy. And sometimes people are like, oh, I didn't even know it was a policy. Sorry, I'll stop. You know, but if you don't tell somebody, a lot of people are just absolutely blind to their own behavior. They have no idea. Most people are lost in their own little world. And a lot of times we assume people know what they're doing. They don't. And so what again, this is a call for you to look at your own stuff and to say, where have I been blind to the responsibility that I've refused to take for my actions? And where have I been, again, in the energy of power and manipulation? And how can I stop? Because it isn't serving me, and it isn't serving other people, and it isn't serving us as a general collective, I don't think. So the ego is involved here. So releasing all of us from this overactive ego. Again, we don't want the ego to go away. I always just say, neutralize my ego. I just want her to be neutral. It doesn't have to be dead. It doesn't have to, you know, be shattered and broken and whatever. It just needs to be neutral. So you can say that with me now. I neutralize my ego. I ask my ego to let go of the intensity and the high emotion that she has been carrying, he has been carrying, it has been carrying. I release my ego from, again, all the stories, the lies, the fables, the tales that told it needed to have power over others in order to be valuable, in order to exist, in order to be safe. For many of us, that's what this is about. We don't feel safe unless we have power and control over everything around us. I release myself now from this belief that if I don't have power and control, I am unsafe. All right. I'm going to wrap this up here really fast. We're not going to do a long clearing today. There's one other thing we can do here today. We're going to look at chart 5, and then we're going to go to our replacement energies. The energy of violence again, y'all. The energy of violence. I'm starting to really think that there's not a big difference. Like, the word violence is actually so much broader in meaning than we have given it. And violence can just be any action against ourselves or against others that is harmful. And it is actually a violent act to try to wield power and control and manipulation over another. That is violence. That is abuse. And if you think that it's only you that have been the victim of abuse and violence, look at yourself. Look at the way in which you have been demanding power and control in order to, whatever the thing is, feel good, feel powerful, feel worthy, feel safe. Releasing all of us from this energy of violence so that we can move on, releasing all of us from any addiction we have to violence, any attraction we have to violence, any vows, curses, or agreements we have ever made to be violent in any form or fashion. Okay, our replacement energies for today are happiness. Calling in happiness in its place. We don't need power and control if we're just happy. Kindness, trust, worthiness, wisdom, order. Calling in order, I love that. That makes me feel like that's a neutral ego, right? When the ego is neutral, everything is in order. We don't have to worry about these big swings, these power, control, safety, fear, anxiety. Blah. Everything is in order. Say that right now. I trust that everything is in order. I hand this over to Spirit now. It's my favorite saying of all time. I don't need to have power and control. I don't need to manipulate anybody in order to stay safe. I am safe as I am, and I hand all of this ridiculousness over to Spirit now, allowing myself to be the full expression of my spiritual self. All right, well, I hope that was fun for y'all in some way. Let me know if you'd like me to do some tarot inspiration again someday, and we will see you next time on another episode of Clearing with Kate.